Hi there, welcome to this week's Weekend Warrior video. I'm Mike Watchmaker, National Handicapper for Daily Racing Form. Turf is the name of the game when it comes to stakes racing on Saturday. We hope the weather cooperates. And the three races I'm going to talk about are the Pebbles Stakes at Belmont Park, the Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup at Keeneland, and the Canadian International at Woodbine. Let's begin with the Pebbles Stakes. And there's been a ton of rain for a couple of months in New York, and we're taping this on Thursday morning, and there's more rain, some of it heavy, predicted for this afternoon. I want horses that have proven ability to handle soft turf courses, or at least off-turf courses, and I think that that could compromise a couple of the favorites in this race. For example, Get Stormy on paper looks like a legitimate win candidate. She's going for a four straight stakes victory. Her last three stakes victories were at a mile. Looks like she should be able to stretch out, but the problem with Get Stormy is she's never seen anything other than a firm turf course. So she's a big question mark on the kind of going with cutting in it that she's likely to encounter on Saturday. And do you want to take a short price on a horse with that big of a question mark? Significant Form is another filly that's liable to take significant action in this race. Earlier this year, she was one of the very best three-year-old fillies in the country, but her form has kind of gone south lately. Her fifth in the Lake Placid last time out was the worst finish of her career. That was also her first attempt on a turf course other than firm. So I think she could be vulnerable on the going. I want Victorine in here. Victorine is a proven commodity on off-turf courses. She ran well in them earlier in her career in France. She finished a close fourth in a Group 3 stakes at Deauville over the summer. And I thought her fourth in the Sands Point last time out in her U.S. debut was better than it looks on paper. For one, Victorine was 3 wide to 4 wide around the racetrack. And number two, she was severely compromised by a very slow pace in this race. Now, to her credit, she made a very nice run to threaten into the stretch, into upper stretch, and she weakened only a little bit late, but she wasn't going to make a dent coming from last early, given how slow the fractions were, 52, 117. I mean, what could she do, even if the ground was off? So she's got more speed in this race to rally into. And I think she's also now getting first-time Lasix. She's making her first start for Christophe Clement, who only won 4 stakes races last weekend at Belmont. So it's Victorine for me in the Pebbles. Let's move on to the QE2. And the favorite in this race, and deservedly so, is Rushing Fall. Rushing Fall is just a terrific filly. She's won 5 of 6 career starts. She handles any kind of pace scenario. She can come from downtown. She can be right up on the pace if the fractions are slow. She handles any kind of footing as well. I've got no issues at all with Rushing Fall, other than the fact that she did get a very perfect trip when she won the Lake Placid last time out, and she's going to be a short price. And I just am very intrigued with a horse in here who's going to be a better price, and that's Nialetti. Now, Nialetti is moving in with straight 3-year-old fillies in this spot after running against older opponents, and most recently in a Group 2 at Goodwood, she not only ran against older opponents, she ran against older males, and she was only beaten a length and a quarter for all the money, and that was in a Group 2. 2 starts back, she made her first and only to date U.S. start in the Beverly D against older horses, and she ran into our 2 best older turf mares and Sister Charlie and 4-Star Crook. And then 3 starts back, she ran against older mares in a Group 1 at Newmarket. The last time Nialetti ran against straight 3-year-old fillies was 4 starts back in the German Guineas, 1,000 Guineas. I know it was only the German 1,000 Guineas, but she absolutely obliterated 10 opponents in that race, winning by more than 4 lengths. That's the kind of big win margin that you rarely see in European racing. You know, Nialetti making the move back in with straight 3-year-olds is an angle that I just cannot resist in here. I know Rushing Fall is going to take a lot of beating, but it's Nialetti for me in the QE2. Let's wrap it up with the Canadian International. And I will be the first to admit that horses who were beaten more than 39 lengths in their last starts are horses that I usually don't feature in their next starts, but I'm making an exception for Spring Quality. Spring Quality was that badly beaten in the Joe Hurst Turf Classic in his most recent appearance. That was run on a very soft turf course that I just don't think he handled. And so I'm just going to draw a big line through that race. I think it's a very positive sign that he's coming back on quick rest. for a top trader in gray emotion. And if Spring Quality can run back to his win in the Manhattan Stakes 3 starts back, I think he can absolutely crush this field. I mean, there are a lot of European chippers in this spot, and I've been writing pretty much all year that our male turf division is very vulnerable to European chippers of any account. But I just question if any of the European chippers in the Canadian International are of any account. None of them do very much for me. I think Spring Quality is, with that darkened last line, can come up with a much improved performance and win the Canadian International. What I hope is a square price. That's the way it looks for this week's video, Weekend Warrior. Thank you for watching.